Destiny, it's a franchise that's been around for a long time. A lot of us have been playing since Destiny 1. I'm a huge Destiny fan. You know, after dealing with everything that was happening with Destiny 2, removing stuff that we paid for, sunsetting stuff that we grinded for, nerfing exotics into the ground, how much more of a beating must they receive, sir? And after all that grinding, now your stuff is useless, and you will never get that time back. So when Destiny Rising released, I was interested in seeing exactly what another development studio would do with the Destiny IP. And man, I was so surprised at all of the features in this game. There's actual real depth to this, to your character builds, the artifacts, your playstyles, there's new enemies. There's so much stuff that I'm going to go over in this video that I was absolutely pleasantly surprised to see. So this is going to be a longer video. So buckle up. First, let's talk about the essence of Destiny. Even back in the Destiny 1 trailer, it was always about that power fantasy. You and your fire team take on enemies across the universe. That was the backdrop, and you and your boys got on every day to smack the threats to the galaxy right in the face. You grinded to get stronger so you could delete full rooms of enemies. You ran the raids, you did raid carries because you just worked that hard to make your character that strong. And the Destiny Rising developers seem to understand this, as it's shown in the trailers, in the gameplay, and it's built directly into the in-game systems. Now on the opposite end, working against the power fantasy idea, we got Bungie, who hits us with nerf after nerf after nerf after nerf. Now some of the nerfs they say, well, this is because of, PvP balance. But the players have been asking them to make standalone PvE and PvP gear and weapons for years. Now Bungie just doesn't nerf weapons and armor, they nerf power interactions as well. So if you made a build based off a power interaction, too bad. You just woke up this morning to find out everything you've been grinding for is now all for nothing. So I'm not talking about the stuff that shipped broken, new update just came out and all of a sudden the exotic is one-shotting people, or you don't have to grind or work hard to make your build crazy, you just need to equip the weapon. I'm not talking about those nerfs. Those needed to happen. So now you're probably asking, why are Destiny players still playing the game? Well, that's because the moment-to-moment gameplay is so fun with the abilities, the gunplay, the cinematics, the raids, the cosmetics, paid of course, weapon crafting. There's so much that you can do to be excited about if Bungie didn't have this history of nerfing stuff into the ground. Now the question is, well, what's the difference between how Destiny 2 makes decisions and how Destiny Rising is going to make decisions? It's still the same old Bungie, but that's where you're wrong. Enter NetEase Games, an absolute titan of a development studio with many bangers under its belt like Once Human, Marvel Rivals, and many more. But more importantly, the game is being developed in China, and as such, it is under Chinese regulations. Now, why is this important? Well, let's take a look at the issue that happened with Genshin Impact when their developers tried nerfing content that people paid for.
Jubilet has been nerfed, and now CN players are reporting this situation to the government for consumer fraud. This bug has been present for around 7 patches. But why is it only being fixed now? Did they know nothing about it all this time? This is why they're reporting it as consumer fraud, because it's clear that this is a tactic to sell the newest, stronger Natlan characters by nerfing the current top DPS so they can sell better. After 1 day of feedback, they actually brought it back and gave us 1600 Primo as compensation. This is so funny and ridiculous.
Now that's MiHoYo, another Chinese company. To max out this character, it costs around $2,000, and I know, because I used to make Genshin content. Now the developers thought they could go in and make the character worse by claiming this is a bug fix. But this isn't too different than what we've seen from Bungie, who has made nerfs, but then claimed they were bug fixes. So that means under NetEase, content that we paid for would be highly unlikely to be removed from the game or nerfed into the ground, which is a refreshing change from what we had to deal with over the years with Bungie. And with that being said, we're going to take a deep dive and look into all of the features that are in this game. And trust me, it is a lot. Now, when I looked it up, I tried to figure out what engine was being used to create Destiny Rising. I got 2 results. One said the Tiger engine, the engine used to make Destiny 2. The other result said NetEase's own engine, which could be a modified version of the Tiger engine. However, if it was the Tiger engine, then the big question is, why aren't these features in Destiny 2? It's been 10 years. We've been asking for simple stuff, all of these quality of life changes that I'm going to go through. We've been begging on the forums, begging. on the Reddit. And to deaf ears, God bless. Even while the community is on life support, Destiny releases a TWAB like they did recently that just shows, we don't care.
Snake, are you okay? Snake?
Now I'm aware that Bungie is now a shell of its former self, with many of the main people leaving the company. We got the CEO spending millions on luxury cars. We got massive layoffs coming on. I don't even know who's working there now. But whoever's pushing the buttons at Bungie's, they're pushing the wrong ones. However, I wonder if in the future, because of the success of Destiny Rising, because of the interest, I mean, we're talking about 10 million pre-orders for the game. There is an interest in Destiny as an IP, and I'm wondering in the future if Destiny doesn't recover, if we'll see a passing of the buck where Bungie hands off the IP to another company. But that's just a thought. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so first I'm going to be talking about the environment, the characters, and my thoughts on the overall story and side quests. I'm also going to be showcasing the camera function, and I'm also playing on PC using the Mumu player. First, let's start with the Destiny Rising's version of the tower, Haven. So for context, in Destiny 2, the tower is located in the last city, which is known as the last bastion of mankind. And throughout Destiny's history, we have wiped out threats to the universe, and we have got one upgrade, which is with Season of the Drifter, where we got some little cubbies added to the basement. Outside of that, I guess we don't have a house, we never leave, we just work 24/7 at the tower. Lord Shaxx gets no days off. We know the Eververse store don't close. That gotta stay open. Bungie orders. But players been asking for a long time for like player housing or something that's more immersive. And what makes it even worse is when you think about it, we've been saving a galaxy for like 10 years. Like, what do we get for that? They're like, hey, we got some lockers over here for y'all. You know what I'm saying? We might expand the storage space on them. We might not. Enjoy the lockers, man. I mean, we protect the last city. We just can't actually live in the last city. I got you. But maybe that's what it's been all along. Like, what if Destiny was really just about slavery? Like, think about it. Like, you was dead in heaven, and then you got resurrected back on Earth to work for the Traveler. You didn't ask for this. And the Traveler's like, oh, no, you ain't gonna die on me again. Because as soon as you die, I'm gonna get you right back up with this ghost, and you getting back to work, back in the mines.
Bro, please, bro. Why you do?
Also, it's an absolute crime that our mainstayers here, like Lord Shaxx, does not have his own section. Look, they gave this man a hallway. I mean, they really got Lord Shaxx out here like he a Marine recruiter. Like you walk through, Guardian, Crucible, Guardian. Have you thought about joining the Crucible? What's your light level? It doesn't matter in the Crucible. Join the Crucible. What's crazy is that in Destiny 1, he had the entire first floor before he went to go talk to the Vanguard. Big respect. Guns on the wall, armor up. In Destiny 2, nah, they got him out here like he giving out pamphlets. Lord Shaxx carried this game when there was no content, and they gave him 3 computers and a robot that don't do nothing. And don't get me started on the Crypt Arch. He don't got no animations but just looking at that notepad, scheming on how not to give me what I want. That's all he does, it just piss me off. That's his job. We can go ahead and delete him in the next update. I'd rather just go to a kiosk than have to deal with him. Oh, Guardian, looks like you have some interesting things for me to decrypt. So you can give me more trash. Y'all remember when Destiny first came out and he was turning everybody's legendary engrams into blue drops? You always been trash, Raul. You always been trash. I think his booth is the most confusing because he's got like golden pottery and stuff. For what? He got technology over here for what? He doesn't do anything with it. To this day, I don't know what it looks like to decrypt an engram. No animations, no presentation, just disappointment. Now the devs have shown us that they have the ability to make things more decorative, add new rooms, things like that. Like we've seen it with Season of the Lost, Season of Revelry, Lord Shaxx. But I guess I can't be too upset because look what they did to Drifter. They put him in a basement. They got him next to the boilers. He looked like he snuck in here trying to hide out to avoid paying rent. So the problem with the tower design is that everything is shaped like a square, so it's just a bunch of hallways and little small square rooms. And some of the stuff isn't even decorated for real, like on the interior. Like I didn't even see Xur. Like I turned in here, I'm like, whose gypsy looking room is this? I can't even see Xur in the back. He's shrouded in the mist. But to be fair, the external decoration was good enough to get me to want to turn in and see what was going on in here, so points for that. But the fact that it's Xur, the emissary of the Nine, the only one we have, why is he living like we struggling? Also, building a bunch of hallways that lead to locked doors makes zero sense to me. It's a pointless endeavor. If the player runs around trying to figure out all this new stuff that was added, but it doesn't loop around, but it actually sends them down pathway after pathway after pathway just to a dead end that has literally nothing at the end of it, what is the point? There's no environmental storytelling here. There's no thematic purpose for it. It's just things to say, oh, we increased the size. With this packed as the tower is, I would love to see the NPCs have more involvement in the quests and things like that, instead of just being more like decoration around the tower. And that is where Destiny Rising really stands out, because not only do the people talk and talk about things that they're interested in.
Liquid ammo? I think it's just a gimmick. Omelon loves marketing that kind of stuff.
But also you run into these people on missions, you help their factions.
Both local and global communications have been restored. That light bearer is really something.
Which one?
But they are more integrated into the story more than anything that I've experienced in Destiny. That portion.
I knew you had unlimited potential when I first met you.
Ah, come on, drinks on me tonight. No, but really, that's cool they compliment you though.
The town's been abuzz ever since you saved those miners.
But not only that, Haven is massive. You got the bazaar, you got the garden, you got the armory, and you have the central plaza. You got the Iron Lord's palace. And all of these different places had different secrets and things for you to discover, which I will not spoil here. It's free money. Go find that free money. It's everywhere. In addition to finding a bunch of the currency that you use for making roles for characters, there's also cool things to notice if you're a Destiny fan, like the weapon manufacturer logos shown in the armory. Write in the comments if you know the name of these two weapon manufacturers right here. Also, since Bungie gave NetEase full creative control on their lore story for this game, and it's set to take place before Destiny 1, it's cool to be able to see some of that lore on the murals on the walls. Even the main characters in Haven are really detailed, and some characters like the speaker here provide foreshadowing that you'll understand later as you do side quests for the different characters.
You've all come a long way. Until you find your chosen, you can stay here. I promise.
Our peoples are in conflict because we both wish to survive. We will fight forever, unless there can somehow be enough to satisfy both.
So much effort has gone into this game and it really shows. And it's really surprising, especially when you hear mobile game, people think low budget, low effort, cash grab, whatever. But this one really feels different. I feel like the developers really understand Destiny, and a lot of people in the in-game chat has been saying that it feels like Destiny 1 again. It's crazy they added so many minute details too, like when Morgan yawns, his little lizard neck starts vibrating, or how you can tell what Drifter's about just by watching him. Distinct detail helps the players become more immersed with the world, and Destiny feels alive more than ever. Also, what's huge is that your ghost is no longer just your glorified voice box, since each character speaks for themselves. The ghosts and the guardian actually have a symbiotic relationship with one another where they're involved in each other's personal lives. Also, watch how the ghost comes up to the camera. I thought this was so cool.
By the way, did you receive this month's catalog from Beauty and Beast?
That handmade cosmetic shop? Let me check the message. There's some new shows coming to town. You want to take a look?
But the developers also stayed true to what we saw in Destiny 1 when it comes to banter between the characters.
Congratulations. Humans haven't been on the moon in hundreds of years.
Nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here.
Dying here is much more likely.
Nice pep talk.
Oh, man. There's nothing I hate more than an alien with no respect for history.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Well, now it's a party.
Music?
Something classical.
Into the future.
Technically, all bullets are shot from the past into the future. Anyway, what's the mission?
Oh, right, sorry. Radagast has us holding the line until Lord Felwinter and the other Iron Lords arrive. Favor and Gwen are already on the field. And no, you're not imagining the soundtrack. You can thank Graphic for that.
We haven't had this much effort put into characters ever since Cade 6.
If I don't see you out there, I'll kill you myself. Worst case scenario, you die. But who knows? Maybe you won't.
Stand with me!
Yeah! Oh, really, guys?
That was inspiring.
Also, there will be a ton of loot! Yeah, right? That's what I thought.
And the game released with 80 character-specific quests. So if you don't resonate with Atal trying to help the fallen babies, little ninjas, then you don't have to mess with that. Maybe you want to rock with the warlord here and conquer some stuff. Either way, out of all the characters, I'm sure you'll find something that you resonate with. So what I think about the overall story, well, first of all, the game came out with 80 quests on day one. That's the start there. But the next thing is the Iron Lords. They actually portrayed the Iron Lords right. If you don't know who the Iron Lords are, they are responsible for helping establish the last city, which is the last bastion for humankind. That means these group of warriors were so powerful that they could carry humanity on their backs while they established the last city. Now, if we fast forward to Destiny 2 and you see how far out the last city goes.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Well, you gotta thank these group of men here, these fighting warriors here, these legendary warriors here. Now, Bungie did write them off though, I'm not gonna lie. I think they just didn't know what to do with the characters, so they just said, one day they all went to go, challenge Warmind, and then got a disease, and then everybody got, they died, but we kept one alive. Because we need him around for seasonal events. But that was it. But to be fair to Bungie, if you look at the roster of NetEase's games and the absolute resources they have in terms of talent and budget, I don't think there's any way Bungie could actually compete with NetEase on a realistic scale when it comes to portraying fantasy, as NetEase has a catalog of fantasy style games that's big, it's over the top, it's kung fu theater, it's full on anime. So when it comes to bringing these legendary warriors to life, I don't think Bungie could bring them to life like how they're written on paper. And to further illustrate my point, here's how Bungie portrayed Lord Saladin, legendary warrior, Iron Lord, in his prime. It's this type of inconsistency with the story writing that just irritates me, because we have the Traveler that can give us the light and we get all these powers and all this crazy stuff. But when it comes to the Iron Lords, what they get, we got a flaming axe, got a little machine gun, legendary warriors. Now let's see these same legendary warriors portrayed by NetEase. Stop. You don't know what you just looked at, so I'm gonna break it down for you. So in mission 6-1, Finala tells us that the base Cabal that we're dealing with are 800 pounds and covered with armor. If you go to the lore, it says the Cabal can be anywhere from 600 pounds to 1,000 pounds, but it still just depends on class. Now these are highly militarized beings that have subjugated full races of beings across the universe. And then look at this Cabal here. Bro, we like little guardian ants out here. And I know for a fact that one weighs more than 1,000 pounds, because ain't no way. Cabal out here built like Buzz Lightyear. Yo, I'm joking, bro. In this story, they show the true power of the Cabal, and outside of an absolute miracle, there would be no way the player could ever defeat them. But that's if we're talking about the player strength. Now the Iron Lords are a completely different story. Now let's break down that scene again. In a fraction of a second, Lord Saladin lifted up a 1,000 pound Cabal and pinned it to a wall, which requires over 1,000 pounds of force to do so. Then, judging by the Cabal's height of 11 feet and the radius of the explosion for the epicenter using the pixel count, we can estimate that he just caused an explosion about the size of 14,000 newtons. That's about 10 kilograms of TNT exploding at the end of his axe. Also, you can see that he and Lord Radagast are shielded right now, which is possibly protecting them from their own powers. The heavy unit is 1,000 pounds and jumps from about 25 feet away. They generally reach their target in about a second or less. This means that the Cabal is traveling at least 17 miles per hour. So let's do the math. The Cabal is traveling at about 17 miles per hour, and if we assume that Radagast's fist makes contact for about 0.035 seconds, and the Cabal's speed is changed by approximately 55 meters per second in the opposite direction, the force needed on impact would have to be at least 691,276 newtons, with a peak force of 1,382,552 newtons. Damn! That is equivalent of 3 M67 grenades on average, with approximately 7 grenades exploding all at once at its peak performance. We came to our answer by calculating the following. The mass and the velocity gave us our momentum. Then we factored in the change of momentum, the time it took to apply that change, which then gave us our force. Notice that Saladin is not injured by the explosion. This makes me think that their powers operate like anti-tank RPGs, where instead of a big wide explosion, all of the force is actually generated through a central point.
But wait! There's more!
In the game, the clip is slowed down for dramatic effect, but in a real-time fight, it would look like this. Now it makes more sense when Kavar has this to say about Lord Radagast.
Lord Radagast has god powers, but still requires my aid. Who can refuse when the gods beckon?
So he has lightning fast reflexes and is incredibly powerful. At this point, we don't know if this power came from the Traveler or if it came from the Ahamkara making wishes. I really like how they portray the Iron Lord's power versus the player character. In this scene here, we're getting a straight raid carry. We're all off to the side while they do all the hard work, and then when they notice us, we hurry up and kill a low-level enemy so it looks like we've been contributing this whole time. And this is what I love, because they really feel like the defenders of humanity. Like, we looking at Goku and Vegeta right now. And look at us, bottom card, bottom of the leaderboards. And look at this. When Lord Saladin releases his shield, I'm like 100 feet away and I almost die just from him activating his power. And this what got me. This the big dude. This the one that just one-shot me. I couldn't even fight back. Lord Saladin just holding him back, chilling. Think about, hurry up, go activate the thing here. But then I found out later, he's like, yeah, man, go head on down there, man. I don't need you to see what I'm about to do to this man. I need you to go ahead and get out of here, young guardian. I don't need you to see this carnage that's about to happen. Because as soon as I leave, what'd he do? Start beating the brakes off of him. Look at him, he running, trying to get away from Saladin. Saladin just on his head, just mink, 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 mink. Bro can't even see straight. Got him flying through floors and walls. And then when I pull up, they have Saladin pretend like he hurts so I can feel like the main character again. You ain't fooling nobody.
The whole base. Retreat.
Since this is on mobile, I'm very impressed with the environmental storytelling they were able to do with what they had. Not only that, I was even more excited to find out that the things I saw in their environment weren't just set pieces, but they were active parts in the story, which I won't spoil. I also think it's hilarious that when fallen babies cry, they sound like DJ turntables.
And if you keep it up, I'll tell Kavar.
No. No.
You're in the mix on Fallen FM.
Watch where you're going. I'll tell Kavar.
Against each other so easily, no matter the species.
Not!
Stop it!
Run!
We don't say
I legit just had the idea to turn his cry into a song as soon as I heard it, and I literally derailed everything I was doing on the video just to do that. So I hope you enjoyed. So let's do a rundown. The game dropped with 80 story quests at least on launch. You have 11 characters with 8 character quests each at launch. This is not to count the side quests. This is not to count the daily quests and other things that you do in public world spaces that contribute to that world, right? This is at launch. But check this out though. The devs actually want you to use your brains when it comes to figure out more about these characters. Since Destiny takes place on Earth and uses real world locations, we can check and see if these characters are tied to real world events. And when I tell you after some research, things got crazy and I learned a lot, things got crazy and I learned a lot. Which I'll go over in another video because we're talking about like a 20-minute dive into world history. It's very educational, it's very dope, but I want to keep the pacing of this video, so I'll upload that as a separate upload. But let's take a look at what's happening right now in Destiny 2.
There's somebody out there that just enjoys rocking Thunderlord, and now Thunderlord's about to feel worse for them, purely based on its performance in the raid or the day one raid.
I just have a problem. Like, it's one of those they can't win situations because it seems like after this nerfs article, what is the PvE meta? There's kind of not a defined one. Definitely not one that we found because everything that was decent is nerfed.
You hear what they're talking about? You're looking at, that's probably 4 of the most dedicated Destiny 2 players on the planet. They make content about Destiny. They spend a lot of time in Destiny. I guarantee you they probably got at least 5,000 hours each in Destiny. And they are trying to make the best of a bad situation when Bungie does what Bungie does, which is nerf all of your hard work into the ground. Now this one is especially egregious, I think, because there's a new raid coming out, there's new content coming out, and this is why I quit the game, okay, like straight up. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. Number 1, you can't play Destiny unless you're working and you got a job, because content costs money, just period, point blank. So that means your free time is already halved. If you got family and stuff like that, that means you have even less free time. So when you do get on the game and you grind for something, you want to find something or gather something or whatever, that is time that you are setting aside that probably should be going towards something more constructive, and you are deciding to do that because this is your hobby, this is your pastime, something you enjoy, and you want to be rewarded for your hard work, right? You get your item, you get your mods, you get your setup. The raid is coming, you know, in a couple weeks or whatever, right? You're prepared, finally. Whoo! All the hard work's done. You're ready, right? And then you come home from work and realize that everything that you just spent all your hard work on is now nerfed to the ground. We're still doing this in the big 2025. We're nerfing everything down. I paid for content that I can't even play because I can't refarm everything and work and keep up with the squad and keep up with the season pass. Like, bro, if you don't want us to play the game, just say that. Like, honestly, that's why Destiny Rising is the safer decision. Like I said earlier, NetEase won't do anything like this because it's a violation of Chinese law. But Bungie gonna do it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, because like we saw with the last TWAB, they're focused on what? Extending playtime. Have you running in circles over and over and over again because it looks good on paper, so they can pull out their graphs and say, look how many players were on for over 45 minutes in one activity. It's so, oh my god. I feel sorry for these people. I know that they make money off of their Destiny content, so really they're literally clocking into the mines. Except the difference between them and you is that they get paid to do it, you don't. So it's, for me, I had to step away. That's why I was so happy when Destiny Rising came out. I'm so glad that it's coming from China, so we don't have to deal with all the nerfs and stuff like that. In fact, the only announcement that NetEase has made is that they're going to be buffs, not nerfs. And so I'm looking at this like, yeah, Destiny Rising might be the future of Destiny. Like this, they already got the new storyline down. All the characters are already looking better. They have more meaning. It's more cinematic in the sense of the actual presence of the characters. They're more alive. It's more immersive. Like they got some good bones here with what they built here at Destiny Rising. And I'm gonna stay on this train right here. I'm gonna stay on Destiny Rising. I'm gonna always watch and see what's going on with Destiny 2. But putting myself through this stuff,
Well, I think
they're gonna neuter it. I mean, they say slightly reduce They say slightly reduced nanite damage base recharge or super contribution, but then they say reduced damage base recharge or super contribution above that. So it's a double nerf.
Double nerf. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have to wait and see how that works. Thunderlord 1 hurts as well because depends. Are Titans going to be forced to use Acting Warwick now? Is that going to be the play for Titans when they're using Thunderlord?
I had every intention of going into this thing using the crossbow with Temporal Blast.
Temporal Blast. Yeah.
Bungie is
Silk Strike.
They have completely shat all over the meta. Luckily, we have an extra week, so we're going to be able to figure out exactly what we're going to be using. But my question is this thing going to go? I mean, how long did the last one take for us? 30 hours? 30?
We finished, I think, like 6-7 hours before the time was up. So 40 hours.
I mean, do we think this one is going to be like that? We know the mechanics.
I don't change it.
So as you can see, they are not happy, of course. Even the girl says, oh, well, maybe I'm coping. You are. It's because, you know, just like Ashcroft said, oh, I had every intention of using the crossbow with the mod that I farmed, didn't it? Yep. And they're going to keep doing it again and again and again. But like I said, the difference between them and you is that they're getting paid to put this content out. You're not. So you still have to hit the mines like they do. Except you got to work in silence. You know, they post their work shits. It's not funny because it's not the player's fault. But it's so silly that Bungie keeps on doing this over and over and over. Player base keeps dropping over and over and over. And they're just like, it's fine. It's fine. What are we down to 20K now? We can lose another 10. We can lose another 10. It's cool. This is what I said, bro. I don't even know who's working at Bungie, bro. I don't know who's there. I don't know what's going on. The name is Bungie, but the employees are not Bungie. So maybe I just need to stop thinking like, Bungie, get it together. Bungie, get it together. When it's like, bro, Bungie been gone. We got Clarence and Ted here. You know, that's who's here. Oh, man. Always remember, your money is a finite resource and your time is a finite resource. Every day, you're not guaranteed either one. The only difference is that money you can always reacquire, but time you can never get back. So make sure you spend it wisely. And make sure these companies not sitting here wasting your time, because they sure will waste your time, won't it? All right, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap up this video early because I've recorded the rest of the video and it's an hour and a half to go through all of the systems in this game and then explain it. And we're already past 30 minutes now. So instead of dropping a 2-hour something banger video, I'm actually gonna upload it as a separate video. So that'll be coming up on the channel soon. I just want to say thank you for everybody who watched the video, who checked it out. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the love. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you are worth the effort. Stay blessed.